All right, ladies, gentlemen, citizens of the Empire, welcome back for another Star Wars The Clone Wars review of Episode 4 this time. I'm sorry this comes a day late. Friday, yesterday, was a little bit hectic for me. I'm sorry. But, shit happens, especially in the middle of this whole goddamn mess we have. So, to start back off with the usual format. We come to this with Anakin, the Bad Batch, Echo, and Rex coming up with a plan to try to get a Republic victory. Now, from the beginning, there's a little bit of a, I guess, plot point, you could call it, that was pretty much abandoned almost immediately, and that was whether or not Echo's loyalties were still with the Republic. Now, from the get-go, I thought, well, yeah, because he's not a droid, and they can't reprogram him once he's out of cloning machines. But, they wanted to hammer on that for some reason for a little bit, for like, I think like 10 minutes, less than that. Like maybe 3, and it seemed a little forced, but they dropped it completely after a couple of minutes. So I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they dropped it at least. So Echo, like a droid now, has the ability to send signals, commands, and whatnot through his robotic arm. If you've ever seen Arrested Development, it kind of looks like Buster's hook, which I know it's pretty morbid to compare it to that, but it looks pretty similar. And so he's been doing so while Mace Windu and Obi-Wan lead a ground assault on an Axis against I think it was a droid factory or some such. And it was while Anakin, Echo, and the Bad Batch are aboard Admiral Trench's ship. Yep, they're going to be dealing with Admiral Trench this episode. Yeah, I know. it seems epic. But, so Echo sends these orders. He lures the droid army into a trap, essentially. And then wipes them out with a little bit of help from Mace Windu. A lot of help from Mace Windu and a little bit of help from Obi-Wan. You'll see what I mean by a lot of help from Mace Windu. Because it could have ended badly if Mace hadn't left to go deal with the problem. Thankfully, Echo coached him through it, but it was still a problem. And I'm actually glad to see Mace Windu again. You don't get to see him that often in the Clone Wars. He only appeared in a couple of episodes where he actually did something. Like 3 Ryloth episodes, I think? No. Or 1 Ryloth episode. And then 3 episodes involving Jar Jar. Which, I know everybody isn't always receptive to Jar Jar. But Mace Windu was in it, and he was good counterbalance. But I'm sorry, I have to laugh whenever I mention Jar Jar talking about Star Wars, because I don't actually think he's that bad, and people just hate him. Calm down. He's not that bad. He's not. I mean, come on. But okay, but towards the end, because in between the gaps, that's pretty much just all what they're doing. Towards the end, Echo gets this offer from, I believe it was Hunter, that telling him he wasn't like the other clones, and if he really felt like he was unwelcome or just didn't fit in anymore, he had the option to join the Bad Batch. And guess what he does at the end? He does. And they have this really, really heartwarming salute scene, which almost made me cry. It almost did. And then the credits roll. Now, as for the episode as a whole, I already spoke on how I wasn't that much of a fan of the whole Echo might be a traitor thing that they did for like 2 minutes, but that dropped off pretty early. I'm happy about that. Um, the action is still kind of amazing. To like, Mace Windu gets to show some power in this episode, and it's great. It's just great to see. I love how like I piss on Disney's corporate money all the time, but I'm so glad they were able to pour money into this series now because it just looks amazing. The lighting of it, the coloring of it, the action and movement is just so fluid. It makes me want to die how good it looks. Now for the story, the story was fine. It was like almost standard Clone Wars fare kind of, but I don't know what it is, especially thus far. Like with all these episodes, they kind of seem really short. I don't know why they just feel shorter, and it's not like I'm coming into it with a non fresh perspective because I kind of watch the Clone Wars all the time because I can watch it on Disney Plus. Plus, there's plenty of websites you can watch it on for free. And I don't know, this season just feels like the episodes are shorter for some reason. I don't get it. I think it's because they're like kind of sort of making every episode in the arcs its own contained thing, like its own contained episode that technically could have ended without needing a conclusion to it. But I don't know, when they did arcs before in the other parts of the Clone Wars, they like each episode was not necessarily self-contained, and it clearly kind of went on like, yo, Darth Maul's coming back because they didn't kill him, like shit like that. But they kind of give every episode this air of finality to it, even though it's still most certainly not if you follow standard trajectory or common sense. So I don't know what to tell you there. It still kind of bothers me, but I'm getting used to it. You know, I'm just gonna have to get used to it. I'm basically a boomer when it comes to cartoons, so like I grew up in the early 2000s and like technically the late 90s stuff as well. Kim Possible, Dexter's Lab, all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, fucking wacky races too. And like, you know, after I turned like 13, I kind of started dropping off with cartoons. But you know, there's that. It's great. I cannot tell where it's gonna go next. All I can tell you, it's gonna be pretty great. I hope it's starting off with Ahsoka stuff now, but we might not. They're like, as far as I can tell, the Ahsoka stuff is like the last of bits of it, and I think we're getting 12 episodes for this season. So I don't know where we're going. It's gonna be exciting. I would love to see where it goes next. I can't wait for the Ahsoka and Mandalore stuff, but I also can't wait for anything in between. So there is that. That's something we all have to look forward to. So other than that, I hope this helped you out a lot. I still give it a 10 out of 10. Like probably 2 points for nostalgia. Other than that, I thank you so very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope this helped you. I hope you enjoyed it, at least hearing me ramble about Star Wars for like 10 minutes almost. And I will see you next time.